Well, 2020 has been a year of loss, but also a year of gain. A local Bakersfield woman used her stay-at-home pandemic time to embark on a new journey, creating her own publishing company. Yeah, pretty impressive. We have author, teacher, and now founder of 1127 Press, Debbie Tinoco, on the show this morning to talk all about it. Debbie, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I want to start with the motivation behind starting this company and ultimately the series Dale Gas Carmen. You were born and raised here in Bakersfield in a Mexican-American household. So how much did that play a role in starting this book?
It played a very big role in starting the publishing company and putting together the Dale Gas Carmen series. There's not a lot of people in my community that are published, and it was difficult getting my stories published. And so I just ventured out and decided that I needed to bring voice to my stories, as well as others like me, their stories. With regards to the series, I was motivated to share my grandparents with everyone, fond memories of my childhood, and the love of my grandparents is what gets me through tough times and hard days.
Oh, well, what a beautiful way to pay tribute to your grandparents. That's so sweet. Well, the first book of the series is Crossing the Delaware with Grandpa Tom. Speaking of your grandparents, I actually have it right here in my hands. It has an American history backdrop in a multicultural way. So go ahead and tell our viewers just a little bit more about the storyline and what makes it unique.
Well, most everyone is familiar with the story of George Washington crossing the Delaware, but most people aren't familiar with the backstory of the night before. And historically, big pivotal events always have a backstory and a dilemma. And most people don't know that George Washington was actually considering canceling the attack, which would have had grave consequences to American history. And so he needed a good friend to talk to, and my Grandpa Tom was always a good friend to everyone. So George Washington calls upon my grandfather, knowing that he would come and bring his family and enough Mexican food to feed an army the night before a pivotal event.
I love that. Yeah, I've had a chance to go through the book myself and see some of those references. So you made it a point to not only express your heritage, but also to empower others who share it. So go ahead and talk about why that is so important to you.
Well, it's important because it's truly the essence of who I am, and it's a core value of my Grandpa Tom. And that's important to me, to live out his legacy and the core values of my family and my grandparents. And quite honestly, it's how my hometown, Bakersfield, rolls. When a call goes out to the Bakersfield community that someone needs help, Bakersfield always responds. And it's also what I strive to do as an educator.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned to me, you do have another fellow Bakersfield gal who's on the team who helped you develop this. So just give a quick shout out to her.
Well, she is the illustrator for two books that are coming up that aren't part of the Dale Gas Carmen series, but are multicultural children's ABC books. Her name is Monica Martinez. She's a young Latina, a great illustrator, and I felt it important to make sure to lift other Latinas up, and she's quite talented, and I can't wait for these two other books to be published.
That's
along with my two other Dale Gas Carmen books with Martin Luther King and Eleanor Roosevelt to be published within this year.
That's absolutely amazing. Certainly, you're supporting what you said, so empowering other people, part of your community. And for folks at home, if you want to get your hands on this book, head to dalegascarmen.com. Debbie Tinoco, the author of this amazing book, thank you so much for coming on the show this morning, and Happy New Year.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Is there a story you think we should investigate? Call our Eyewitness News tip line at 869-2929.